Welcome back to Into the Chatterverse, where two gents share their 2 cents on pop media. I am Victor Dandridge, the hardest working man in comics.
And I'm Bill, and I was happy to see that 9 months after the latest Into the Spider-Verse was supposed to come out, they finally found directors.
Just now?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. See, can I tell you, I think it was it was right after the second one came out. Mm-hmm. I was moderating for Shamik Moore. I think we were in Philly, right? And he said that there was like a ton of stuff that they were just like saying, right? And that like a lot of it like wasn't like actually scripted. They were just talking. They would just get notes and say this. And I thought that maybe they had like pre-recorded like the third movie as well. Like that all the dialogue and stuff is done, and they've already pre-recorded the third movie, and it's just a matter of time. This does not give me that same hope that that's the case.
Well, I will say this. I believe that because they have two directors.
Right.
And one of them was one of the directors on the last one.
So why did it take so long? Negotiations? Come on, y'all. Give him what he wants.
Also, if they're recording for the third movie, did he see twice the amount of money in his paycheck? No, because they probably did some.
Right. But not all.
No.
All right.
Yeah. Because they'd have to pay him for that.
Of course. And I totally understand that. I was the one that said that, like, without making it too morbid, after Chadwick Boseman died, that I literally thought that Disney was going to buckle down for the MCU and basically record as many movies as they could at once. So that way they didn't run into the same situation of someone passing away unexpectedly or whatever. So that you would have that prepaid, like, here's your lump sum. We got you for this long, and when this comes out, it comes out. Like, just do it. But, I mean, I guess that's a smart thing that they didn't do that, because Phase 4 would not have made the money. But, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a little too much, I think.
All right.
Because you can't bank on that.
You can't. You cannot.
No, because once again, Phase 4.
Phase 4. Oh, man. All right, well, hopefully this new director team, because since we're bringing back one person, hopefully the new person.
Well, and the other person, he was involved in it as well.
All right.
So he wasn't a director, but I think he was in on the production side.
Okay. That makes it a little better, but, I mean, it still makes me worry about how long it's going to take to do this. And
well, I'm more worried about him getting it right.
Absolutely that.
Because this is the only thing that they've made that
works.
That really works. Like the first Venom was okay.
Yes.
But the subsequent ones, no. And no one went to see Craven. That includes me.
Me too.
And I got yesterday for the people at work, you get to see movies for free. I go, it's my time.
It's my time, baby. No. I can do other things.
Have you ever been bothered about something when you're watching a movie? I said, and I did say, yeah, the one nice thing I can do, I can pause a movie.
Yes, that is nice.
Yeah.
That is nice. But that's not enough.
No.
So no. Yeah. Okay, so the thing that I wanted to talk about today, I actually saw on a random like Facebook post, and it put me down a little rabbit hole, and it was talking about Sesame Street, and the question I saw in the post was, is Sesame Street canceled? Which immediately, like, I went into a panic. Like,
yeah.
The world ends if Sesame Street gets canceled. I don't understand how that could ever be a thing, but that wasn't the case. However, there was a lack of renewal from HBO or Warner to bring Sesame Street as a series back to their streaming platform.
Yeah.
What is the difference with that? Like, because it's not canceled, they're still making more? They just don't have a home for it? What exactly?
Well, I know that they get to keep the library until 2027.
Right.
I think that this is the last year that they're making new ones. So
it is actually stopping.
Yeah, but they just need to find someone else.
Okay.
I am not one of those people who's like, oh my God, they're done. No, I mean,
make fun of me.
It lends itself to Disney right off the bat.
Right.
But like I said, you've got Apple, Amazon, and Netflix.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they're all waiting.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially Netflix.
God, Netflix would kill with
Netflix just throws money at everything.
Here you go. Pay for it. This is ours for a while. If you were Netflix, how long of a contract would you aim for? Like, how many years would you
I think a 10-year deal is the sweet spot.
Yeah, I can see that.
Especially when it comes to something like that.
Right, because it's rewatchable,
Yep.
let alone whatever new content that they can add to it over that time. That's not bad. Is there a dollar amount that we willing to put on file here for Sesame Street?
Well, outside of the $35 million to make 20 whatever episodes.
I mean, that's a bunch.
Or is it 20? I can't even remember.
I
think it was the other way around. But either way, that's a lot. I don't know what the price tag is. Maybe it's another $50 million a year.
Okay. I mean, $50 million a year for 10 years. I mean, that's a good chunk of change, without question. With the modern context of kid-friendly content, is Sesame Street still a player to warrant that kind of investment?
I think with all the adults that were upset by it, yes.
Okay. You know what? I didn't even think about it that way. That's absolutely true, because if all of us grown folks who probably haven't watched this thing in like 25 years suddenly are like, wait, what? That's grounds to kind of go, look, it still is a thing.
Yeah.
Does it create a resurgence of watching? Like, do you think we all turn around and start watching it again?
Yeah, I think it spikes early.
Yeah.
And it'll plateau.
Gotcha.
And I don't think it's a bad thing.
Okay. All right. I asked the question right before we started recording of, would it not be viable for Sesame Street as a brand entity to move to a platform that already exists like YouTube without having to license out? And you were saying that technically leaves a lot of money on the table if they do that, because the licensing does a bunch more in terms of financial recoups and all that stuff. But if there was any sort of entity that I think has through time like built enough of a standing or something like that where they could kind of risk it, I would have guessed Sesame Street. What do you think is like the biggest thing that they would lose outside of like just the general licensing revenue from being on a channel by going to like a platform like YouTube?
So when you remember watching Sesame Street, what's the one thing you don't ever remember seeing?
Commercials. Dang, I just like walk right into that.
Yep. That's it.
It's commercials.
Commercials.
Okay. All right.
Because they would, and it's not like they make breaks for commercials.
Right, they don't.
YouTube just goes
to commercial.
And it's like all the streaming services. They do that. They put those commercials where it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And you're like, why?
Why did you do this to me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's an interesting. Oh God, I didn't even think about the viability of commercials. Does absolutely interrupt the flow of it.
Now that would boost subscriptions.
Okay.
Paid subscriptions.
Right.
But
that's still not necessarily feeding the beast for them.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it just struck me as something interesting. Like if you take the current like YouTube model, and there's a viewership platform that if you hit this amount of views, then you get this amount of money. I think Sesame Street could viably do that.
Yeah.
And supplement a lot of what they would lose licensing wise. But there is still major pieces of the puzzle that like, no, this is not injected into it on a regular basis.
Right. I mean, if you look at the major studios, like Sony's the only one that doesn't have.
Right.
And they're like, we don't want a channel. We want to license everything out.
Okay.
And they, as long as they put out stuff people want to see.
Say it with a straight face.
Just like it. I mean, at this point, I would just be like, let's wait till the last Spider-Verse comes out and just go, Marvel, if you want to license everything, just go ahead.
Just have it.
Like,
just cash
we'll just cash the checks and,
I mean,
they'll never sell it.
You don't think so?
No,
not
there's
ever?
There's too much money in that IP.
Okay. I mean, but there's got to be something where, like, at some point they're going to be upside down in how much they have to spend in order to try to keep this license.
Okay, so if we're gonna let's look at Spider-Man.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Let's go.
Even if you didn't like Spider-Man,
which Spider-Man are we talking?
We're looking at them all.
Oh, okay. All right.
So if we, obviously the first one,
right,
and the second one made money. We're gonna go straight to Spider-Man 3.
Ooh.
That made almost $900 million worldwide,
Jeez.
and that movie was not. Good.
Okay, but that's
okay. And now
2007.
All right,
so
we're gonna bypass Amazing Spider-Man. We're gonna go right to Spider-Man.
Okay.
Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Amazing Spider-Man 2. Oh, jeez.
Over $700 million, and that was considered
a failure.
Yeah. Which is when they went right to Tom Holland, and they went with and Marvel's said, "Hey, can we do this?" I'm like, sure, go right ahead.
Right. Now, how much was that first Homecoming though? Like, okay, if Amazing Spider-Man 2 did over 700 million, Homecoming did what? Up or down?
I'm going to go up.
What you
I'm going to go up.
I'm going to say less than. Dang it.
I was going to say 800, but at 880.
Okay.
Because you that wasn't the first time you saw Tom Holland.
That's true.
Because he was in Civil War.
Right. But I didn't think that this one did as well as we know that the Far From Home absolutely did. I thought this one was the weaker of the three, but I thought it was substantially weaker that it came in under Amazing Spider-Man number 2. But I was wrong.
You want to guess on Into the Spider-Verse?
Okay, so I know Into the Spider-Verse is lower.
Yeah.
I do know that. I want to say it's, what, 3 or 4? 3 or 400 million?
I think that's about right, but I want to say it's closer to 5. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
393.
So just under 4.
And so that must have just made enough money that they went, oh, let's go ahead and do a second one.
Right.
Which
that's nice.
Almost doubled.
Yeah.
690.
Yeah. And we don't have a listing for the budget on this one.
No.
Interesting, because the first one was 90 million. This one doesn't have a listed budget. I think that's very interesting.
$100 million.
Okay.
It made a ton of money.
Yeah, it did. So you're saying that off of just those, they can float off of the lack of performance.
Yep.
Of
And then
Kraven
they can make
and
other
all those
crappy movies they want to.
because it keeps the rights.
Yeah.
Does making Kraven renew the rights for Spider-Man?
That's
messed up.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's messed up. Okay, all right. I just thought that at some point, how much did Kraven cost?
If it cost more than $75 million, then
it was a failure.
Oh, I just when I saw the trailer at CinemaCon, I was just like, this does not look good. Yeah.
Oof.
110 to 130 million dollars. It just didn't look good at all.
I mean, the most interesting thing was Aaron, without any context of the story. He was just the most interesting thing, but that's because I think he's an interesting actor.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yep.
That's about it. So, all right. We've gotten to watch him grow up. He still loves the comic book stuff. First movie I saw him in was Kick-Ass. I don't know if that was his absolute first, but...
yeah, it's the first time I remember seeing him.
Yeah. But, wow.
I think what's lost on that is Russell Crowe's in that movie.
Plays his dad, doesn't he?
Sure.
So. Yeah.
I would have had to actually look it up.
All right. Wow. Okay, so Sony, in the same boat as Sesame Street, doesn't have a platform. Possibly just better off licensing their work and just doing it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense.
Because then you don't have to put the hundreds of millions of dollars into creating a streaming service.
That's true.
And then, because Disney's lost billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Because not only did they have to create it, but they've been creating more.
For it.
Yeah. And I think it was somewhere in the neighborhood of $11.4 billion.
Wow.
Because they keep creating more content.
To go on there.
Yeah. And they was it last year or this year? Somewhere around $30 billion that they put into production costs.
Oof. Jeepers. Okay.
But that also tells you how much money they've gotten back from that as well.
So what if we take a half step down and not say Sesame Street should have a platform or a streaming platform, but what about a studio where they're actively making big budget projects? I don't remember the last time a Sesame Street movie was in production, and I don't know.
I don't think they've ever made a Sesame Street movie.
Yeah, it's because I think it was always
the Muppets,
wasn't it?
The Muppets is a separate entity.
Yeah, so
and I think the only thing that they have in common is Kermit.
Wow, no. There's got to be. There's one Sesame. There's a Big Bird Goes something movie. Can we please? Because I cannot remember the name of it now. Big Bird Goes to something.
Big Bird in China?
That is not the one I was talking about. When I popped up, I'm like, that's That's not it at all. That is a TV movie, but I thought there was one where like he goes downtown or something like that. If you guys are watching, like help me by commenting below what this movie was called, because I thought there was one, and maybe I just made it up in my dreams. I don't know. Because like everyone thought he was missing, but he just went somewhere. I think he was either looking for his family or something ridiculous. Wow, that's crazy.
Big Bird Gets Lost.
No, is it Big Bird Gets
Big
Lost?
Bird in Japan. That's a video.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
don't know.
As far as I know, Kermit is the only thing that's.
Huh.
And I know that Henson gave all the rights to the Muppets on Sesame Street to the.
Was it PBS or whatever?
It was children. Yeah, it was to PBS,
yeah,
and they created the workshop.
Okay, all right. Okay, I mean, I think that would be an interesting thing to get like a series of movies.
They may not be able to do it. That was going to be my point.
Oh, okay.
But also, since Disney owns the Muppets,
it is.
I think that going to Disney Plus is the obvious choice.
Sure. I just don't want it to be like a graveyard where it goes there, but it doesn't actively generate anything. Like I feel like Sesame Street would do well to get the Lego treatment. How Lego as a brand started like licensing out all these other things. They start making movies based on Lego-ized characters. And like it would be a very interesting thing to have some really cool stories, classic stories or brand new whatever genre stories, but featuring Sesame Street characters. I would watch that. Much in the same way as we've talked about how why in the world Disney is so hell-bent on making live action things and not the Muppet versions of these things, because I think people would absolutely like that. They would watch it. It would win. It would make gobs of money, at least over time. Mm-hmm. And Sesame Street, I think, could be the same thing. So what are we waiting for? Like, come on, Sesame Street. Make some more stuff. Make it for me. I know I haven't watched in a while, but I'm asking, come back.
Get me back. Get me back.
Get me back, baby. I'm out here. That's all I'm saying.
I didn't miss you until you were gone.
Until you were gone. You didn't know I didn't know what I had.
Yeah.
Okay. I just didn't understand. Okay. Now I'm Oscar and a Grouch crying in a garbage can. Come back home. This week, we got the first official poster of Superman. Yep. And it was this beautiful motion poster. Which like the visual image itself, I'm not gonna lie, I was terrified that the immediate look of it as a still picture, people were gonna be like, oh, it's AI, and just be angry. Like that was my first like instinct, like, oh God, please don't be that. It wasn't, at least ruled that. But the graphic effect of the motion poster I thought was really well done. Mm-hmm. Is that new, or have I just not been paying attention?
They've done
to
motion
doing that? Okay.
Posters before.
All right.
And some theaters even got motion poster cases
because they've got like a digital.
Yeah. So all it is it's a monitor.
Yeah, it's simple filter on it. Yeah, which is nice. What did you think of the song that was playing?
It's moving in the right direction.
That is very well said, and I 1,000,000% agree with you, because I feel like it is the perfect capturing of the two like bench poles or whatever that phrase is of Superman. We've got the John Williams theme, which it definitely is pulling from, but I hear the Hans Zimmerman piece as well. Yeah. Like masterfully done. Like what a great hat nod to the things that came before, but still saying, I'm going to do something different. Did you feel hopeful listening to this one? Like, what's the feeling?
Isn't that what the S stands for?
I mean, it's absolutely what the S stands for, if it's an S.
I'm not worried about anything.
Okay.
I trust in James Gunn when it comes to this.
Facts.
Comes to Superman.
Yeah.
I really want the Williams theme. Mm-hmm. I don't, the rest of it is whatever the rest of it is.
Gotcha.
I love the Hans Zimmer
theme. It's good.
But John Williams is my childhood.
Absolutely. I mean, dude locked it down when it came to like iconic theme songs.
Yeah. And or audiophiles. Well, he ripped off from blah blah. I don't care.
I don't. Okay, fine. He ripped off, but he did it better.
Yeah.
Like his ripoff is fantastic.
You go through movies you've watched. And
Right.
Like if I go up to someone and said, "You like Harry Potter?" Yeah. How do you feel about John Williams? What do you mean? He did the theme song.
What do you?
He's like, he did.
Yes.
Yeah,
Did
absolutely.
you like it? Of course he did.
How do you feel about Gilligan's Island?
Wait, hold on. John Williams did the theme song to Gilligan's Island?
I don't know if he did the theme song, but he did do some of the music in Gilligan's Island. Yeah.
That's amazing.
I think he did though, but
Okay.
I don't know for 100%. But you know,
Yeah.
Indiana Jones,
Yes.
basically anything that was Spielberg or Lucas,
Jurassic Park, all of it. Like,
yeah,
brilliant.
It's all there.
Yeah.
So I really wanted the Williams theme.
I get that.
And the Trunks.
Trunks,
and
man.
I love how much people hate the Trunks. I love it because why would you wear your underwear on the outside? I'm like, why do you care?
You know what? Okay, so I got to give a shout out to Brandon Davis, BD Face Hero on YouTube. I was just listening to his recap of an interview that he did with James, and I guess that was like a big bone of contention. Like they tried different things. It was David Cornsweet who came up with the reason for why he should wear trunks on the outside. And I have to admit, I like it. I like it. According to this is fourth hand at best right now. It's that Superman recognizes that he could be intimidating to people, especially kids. And so he's adopting basically a wrestler's uniform so that he's a little bit more approachable. And at worst, kids will think it's theatrical and kind of like, oh, it's just play around stuff. Like, it's not that big of a deal that he's an alien, can shoot beams out of his eyes and blow over a truck.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's such a very thoughtful idea. Like, I'm literally doing this so that I seem approachable because it looks ridiculous. Because otherwise, I could be terrifying if you just see me as this invading alien force.
Okay, so here's my counterpoint.
Okay, let's go.
So the shield, what's it from?
In this iteration or just in general?
Just in general.
It's Family Crest.
Well, but where did that version of the crest originate?
From the ship? Is that what you mean?
No,
Or like the one
like
where
in
his mom
comic
did?
books.
Oh, Kingdom Come.
Okay,
Yeah.
So what did his uniform look like then? The costume was pretty dark.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it was
Yeah,
black.
it's pretty intimidating. You would say.
A little bit.
Yeah,
a little bit.
I would go with the colors over the trunks because it's all bright,
Yeah. I can see that.
and I think that's more. I don't have a problem with that interpretation of it.
Sure.
But the colors.
The colors
definitely-
do matter.
The colors, the bright colors.
Absolutely.
Because who's intimidated by bright colors?
That's so true. In fact, Batman uses them to get kids shot at, which works out. Like, it just kind of is a cool facet of what he's thinking. I'm going to wear bright colors so that way I seem less intimidating.
Yeah.
And I like all of it. I like the idea of the design of the suit to be a functional piece of communication to people. To be like, hey, it's fine. Like, even if you're like, oh, that's not real, and he might come over and be like, you're right. Like, it's not a big deal at all. Don't even worry about it. And there's like crazy things that are happening, but he's saying it to kind of calm people down and be like, yeah, it's not real. It's not real. Don't even worry about it. Like, there's something cute about that I really like. So definitely looking forward to this week where the teaser trailer drops. That's going to be a big deal. I think the internet's going to explode on that one, and I'm super excited. Before I heard this interview about how James Gunn is saying that this is going to be very much so score heavy versus soundtrack heavy, I did say that I would love for James to revitalize the Jacksons classic "Can You Feel It" by way of the energy that it has about like feeling good and making people look up. I love that song. I don't think that I'm alone in that, so not that it needs to be revitalized, but is there a song that captures that theme of look up to you that would be super fun and awesome, if not just totally random, to be included in this teaser trailer?
Well, I don't know what it would be, but it wouldn't be a slap in the face to the last one like your version would be.
Come on! What's wrong with Can You Feel It?
Yeah, I think what that does is like, hey, remember that other thing?
Dun, dun, dun,
Remember when Henry Cavill was Superman? Remember how you hated that?
I do feel like Look Up is kind of that.
I
though.
think, no, I really can't think of anything.
All right.
But it would probably be something 80s based.
Okay, all right. I mean, That's literally where I'm coming from too. So
Yeah.
I get it. All right. Well, we're going to come back with a special episode before the week is up. So if you have not seen that, look for it. It might already be up before you watch this one. But thank you again for tuning in to Into the Chatterverse. I am Victor Dandridge, the hardest working man in comics.
And I'm Bill, and I look forward to releasing a movie months, years before I find a director.